everyone, I'm Captain Logan. How's it going tonight? I am gonna be flying solo this evening, and by the way, sorry I am starting this stream so late. I had a writers meeting tonight with the Geekvolution creative writing workshop group, and we had a really good, productive evening, but we went kind of long, so sorry about that. But anyway, I am here to watch some anime I have never seen, and as a lot of you guys know, I am completely out of my depth on this. I've not seen a whole lot of anime. I'm learning a little bit here and there. I reviewed Death Note over a year ago now, maybe it's even been closer to a year and a half, and I had planned on making that a series and watching a number of animes and giving you my kind of newbie thoughts right afterwards, and it has just been difficult to watch enough episodes in close succession to sit down and have enough of it in my head and be able to be articulate and all of that. And I've been wanting to do more content on anime, and I thought it would be fun if I just did a real laid-back stream, watching some stuff I haven't seen before, doing kind of a reaction video or blind commentary, although I don't know how much actual commentary I'm going to have, because this is stuff that I'm not at all familiar with, or hardly at all familiar with. We are going to start with an episode of Cowboy Bebop that several people have suggested I look at, including Michael McAllister on Patreon. And by the way, I took all of the suggestions that we're going to be looking at tonight from Patreon, and I got a lot of feedback there. So if this goes well and people want to see me come in and, you know, prattle on while I'm watching stuff I've never seen before, I might do a follow-up to this at some point with some more of those suggestions. I think we had like 14 different nominations or sets of nominations, which for Patreon was a huge response. So thank you guys a lot over there. But I didn't want to do this as just a Patreon exclusive thing because people have been wanting me to look at more anime. So nobody be upset with me that I know nothing, because that's kind of the point. So this is, you know, getting my in the moment response, and the idea is, you know, which of these would I want to keep watching, what am I going to be, you know, surprised by and you know, interested in, and what's going to kind of put me off, all of that. I've been warming up more and more to anime over the years. What I'm finding right now is that I tend to gravitate toward the more kind of psychological thriller stuff and the more morbid stuff. Like, I don't think of myself as a dark fantasy guy, but when it comes to anime, that's what I've really been gravitating toward. Or if not dark fantasy, dark sci-fi, and a lot of, well, I can't say a lot, I haven't watched a ton yet, but you know, kind of genetic engineering stuff and that sort of thing, and then, you know, dark fantasy like Death Note. But I've been watching Monster, which I like a lot, and I've been wanting to do something on that, but it's like 75 episodes, and I wasn't sure when I wanted to come in and start talking about it. So hopefully at some point I'll weigh in on that a little bit, but I would recommend that if you haven't seen it. I think I'm 25, 30 episodes in maybe. I've watched a good number of those, and I've been pretty impressed with it. But anyway, I'm going to start with the 5th episode tonight of Cowboy Bebop, which, when I say that I'm almost entirely unfamiliar with this stuff, Cowboy Bebop is the one that I've seen an episode of, maybe two. I was going to make that the next show that I did a kind of overview stream on, and I may eventually still do that. I don't know yet, but I wanted to open with that because multiple people asked about it, and like I said, multiple people, but starting with Michael McAllister, asked for specifically this 5th episode, which is called Fallen Angels, and I'll be looking at the comments as I move along, so feel free to throw any information at me that you want to. I mean, try not to spoil the episode that I'm watching. If you could, I would certainly appreciate that, just so that I can be, you know, surprised by stuff and get it as it goes along. Jared in the comments there says Cap can't anime. Yes, that's absolutely right. I can't, but I'm getting to where I can do more of that. Austin is not with me tonight, by the way, because he's on vacation this weekend. I hope he's having a great time, and I think this would be a good time to do this because he's not as interested in anime anime as I am getting to, and I thought about trying to bring in a co-host for this, but I thought it might be smarter to just kind of watch these and not have a lot of back and forth, so I can really kind of immerse myself in it a little bit. Obviously, I'll be distracted some by comments and trying to, make this as much of a product as I'm able to while I'm looking at it. But I want to do, more occasional laid-back streams like this. So I don't know how watchable later on this would be, and certainly not without looking at the material, because there'll be more dead air than normal. Probably. But anyway, welcome everybody. I hope you are having a wonderful evening, and thanks for looking at this after the fact if you're doing that. Again, I don't know how much sense that makes, but I appreciate you guys, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So Cowboy Bebop is on Netflix, and I don't remember a ton about even the first episode with this. I know the basic premise. I know that this is sort of Firefly-esque, and was pretty violent in that pilot, and I wasn't real grabbed by the animation and character models with this, so I'm hoping that I'm won over on that a little bit as we get into this. And of course, familiar with this theme song, which was super popular as this was on. And anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this. That concludes everything I know about the show. When did this air? I'm not even looking at a Wikipedia on this or anything. Was this like 99, 2000, around 90s into the 2000s? I think that's around when this happens. So like just before Firefly? Maybe it was even a couple years before that. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. Okay, we're going to get right into it. So if you want to watch it with me, some of that preamble was to let you guys have enough time to pull this up. Everything I'm gonna, at least the first three things we're gonna do tonight are definitely on Netflix, and then we'll decide after that if I keep going, what else we'll look at. So for folks wondering, we're gonna start with a Cowboy Bebop episode, and then I'll just do the pilots or the first episodes for these other things unless somebody suggests I should jump ahead and look at anything. Demon Slayer and Hunter X Hunter, is the X pronounced X? I'm gonna do those three, and then maybe something after that. Thomas Lowe says, My Neighbor Totoro. I'm not going to do any movies tonight, and I have watched a couple of Ghibli things. Somebody suggested that I look at Nausicaa, which I have reviewed, actually, and I loved that. I need to look at that again, but I liked it a lot on first viewing. Okay, I'm talking a lot. Here we go. Ballad of Fallen Angels. It's episode 5 of Cowboy Bebop. I'm just going to react. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. I wonder if Batman Brave and the Bold was at all inspired by the music of this show. There's John in the comments. My sidekick on Cryptofreaks. Good to see you, man. Oh, really? John Ty says you don't pronounce X in Hunter X Hunter. It's just Hunter Hunter. That makes me wonder if there's going to be any people intentionally giving me false information because they know I'm not going to have time to corroborate it right now. Just made me feel really dumb. No, I'm sure that's true, though. I'm finding with animes I never want to skip intros. They're always ultra stylized and real exciting. I love the kind of 60s throwback. Yeah, you don't get much better than this jazzy theme song, man. That sax solo at the end. Oh boy. We just do that this whole time. 98. Thanks for that date. The only English we've had so far. Now, I want to say I'm looking at just a sub here and not an English dub, but I cannot remember what Netflix did with this. Oh, no, this is a straight up dub. Okay. I've made this point with animes before, but it's always weird reading the subtitle, because I am looking at the subtitles with this, and hearing a slightly different translation. sometimes the meaning of certain things is subtly different, and you wonder which is supposed to be the correct version. Even the ship looks a little bit like the Firefly ship, or I should say, the Firefly ship looks a little bit like it, like this. And I'm sure this was an inspiration for that. Love the cityscapes in this. Oh God. Yeah, John Ty, he says I skip the intro sometimes because I want to get to the content of the episode. I mean, if it's a show that I'm binge watching, even if the intro is great, like, yeah, maybe I'll want to do that. The whole second half of Death Note, I skipped it every time because the theme song changed. It was nuts. I'm immediately liking the animation better than I did in the pilot here. And very gruesome right away. There's clearly some symbolism going on with these crows. Whoosh. Meanwhile, at the 1927 Metropolis Pier, okay, thanks for saying each other's character names because I don't remember them. That's Spike. You got your noir-esque ceiling fan. And of course, I have no idea what's happened between the pilot and this. So I don't know how, standalone this episode will be. But this is what people told me I should look at. I'm assuming there's some kind of like big shocking twist or just image. We'll see what that is. John G says Outlaw Star is much closer to Firefly. Oh, interesting. I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it. He's had a rough past because he's got a big scar over his eye. I wonder how much he compares to, like, Jane in Firefly. I'm going to have a hard time not just talking about Firefly while we're watching this. Now suddenly I'm having flashbacks to SWAT Cats. Did anybody ever watch SWAT Cats? So they got a chance at a real huge bounty here. I'm sure they're not going to get all that money at the end of this. And see, the dialogue in the audio was funny, and in the subtitles it was not. She goes, "Men are such babies." And it was just a much more generic line in the subtitles. Interesting. Yeah, Silent Night, a lot of people were asking for One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. I've read the first volume of that in manga, but it's been several years, so I don't remember it very well now. Oh, look, her earrings match her eyes. It's all green. Thundercats is different than SWAT Cats, Thomas Loeb. Oh, look, it's Pipu instead of Pepsi. It's always funny when you have almost product placement. We love this ceiling fan. It creates an atmosphere. It's a pre-Google world. The search engine has to say it's a search engine. Wow, look at the detail inside of this concert hall. That's great. I didn't give this show enough credit with the looks of it. I'm already more sucked into that part of it. I'm digging the deliberate pacing of this. And it's just a real grown-up feeling show, which is redundant with a lot of anime, I realize, but that is a very revealing outfit. I realize there's a lot of that kind of sexualization all through anime, and even recent stuff. They do not shy away from a lot of that. Wow. Like, I've watched some of High Rise Invasion. I thought about doing a show on that. That is a crazy show, and they really don't shy away from that in that show. I can't decide if I like that or not, but I can't stop looking at it. Tom, $2 super chat. I constantly misremember. He said SWAT Cats as Thundercats. Yeah, Thundercats is Thundercats Ho, and predates SWAT Cats. SWAT Cats is much more of a trying to be Ninja Turtles kind of thing, but a little more serious than the cartoon show. And it's got some great animation. John G, I have not seen Black Lagoon. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm not sure what she means by his having died. Is it like he left, and so he might as well be dead? That's the assumption I'm making here. I'm watching the dub, Hayden Spring. No, Jareth, I have not seen any other Ghost in the Shell things after the original movie. I never even think of that as a series. I guess they made one. But I always forget about that. I would like to rewatch that movie. I reviewed that years ago now. Classic science fiction. I was listening close to see if I had heard this opera before. Not that I'm an opera person, but screen stuff tends to go to the same like 3 or 4 operas. Who knows if that's the same case in Japan. John G, I was just mentioning that earlier. Yeah, I'm like 25 episodes into Monster, I think, somewhere in there, and I'm liking it a lot. Oh man, now stuff's going down. That is a dead person. Yeah, I'm trembling. There's a corpse here. Ooh, who's this guy? Is that a statement or his name? Okay, somebody tell me, what's all the text? It says session 5, of course, is because it's the 5th episode, but there's it looks like some kind of like instruction manual or something. You get that a lot before and after commercial breaks in animes, which is something I wish we did here more, where you just have, you know, a little bit of addition to lore in some kind of print thing. Death Note does it too. You always get rules from the Death Note. I was concerned watching the pilot of this that it was maybe going too much in the direction of like really exaggerated facial expressions and reactions and stuff, which I don't tend to really care for. This is more subtle than some of what I saw in that pilot, as I'm remembering it anyway. Perfect Blue was great. I reviewed that. You guys are bringing up stuff I actually saw. See, I've seen a little bit now. Perfect Blue is absolutely brilliant. I want to look at that again. Somebody asked for that. Look at the stained glass. Wow. Somebody asked for that on the request. So yeah, is Vicious that guy's name? I may finally check out Evangelion Hate Spring, having reviewed that big final movie and having no idea what the heck I was looking at. Maybe sitting next to corpses. This guy looks like the guy with the scar. It's a trap. Speaking of Star Wars, I was gonna say he looks like a Dark Horse, like a circa 1998 Dark Horse Star Wars character to me. Yeah, Ray Durazo, people ask me to watch Avatar all the time, and I have tried, and I just can't get into the look of that show. Just not seem to be my thing. Yeah, totally different line in the dub than the sub. Meanwhile, at the Death Cathedral, I love the purple sky there. Yeah, I'm wondering how much tone shift you get episode to episode with this show. Because there's a real cool moodiness to this. That's the thing that I'm most latching onto with the animes that I've been liking most. That I did not get as much from that pilot. And everybody always talks about how brilliant the show is. So I always assume it will win me over if I keep watching it. Captain Harlock. I'll try to remember that. We've got a bounty hunter with this show that looks more like a private detective. Okay, so then the big question we're probably supposed to ask ourselves here is, how much of a fantasy direction are we going in? Or is there going to be a science fiction explanation for everything? Because we're talking a lot about celestial type stuff right now. That was the thumbnail I used. Oh my god. He was a confident shot. If memory serves, he kind of makes some mistakes with the shooting in the pilot, right? Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Thanks, meddling one. I appreciate it. See, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I am just watching these shows. I am watching Cowboy Bebop, Professor Zoom. I'm watching the 5th episode. Yeah, Spike just threw a grenade in a church. And now there's a shootout. It's very exciting. Oh, we just got shot. I'll just give a play-by-play. He's got his dual firearms. Don't interrupt me, I'm planting. Yeah, the dubs are way better than the subtitles. Do we have like a combination of traditional weapons and space weapons in this show? Am I remembering lasers and stuff in the pilot, maybe? I forget. Ooh, now we got swordplay. Just a huge melting pot of genres here. This is the most typical looking anime character we've had so far. Or of what I've seen of this show. I'm a little lost here, I gotta be honest with you. Because I've not watched the episodes in between here, and I'm assuming there's probably a couple things I'm missing. When he says I've bled all that kind of blood, I don't really know what that means. Wow, this is a lot of imagery and background and stuff to take in here. I love the intercutting here with all the flashback stuff and his falling slowly to his ostensible demise. This track is lovely. And it makes this kind of thing a lot more haunting. Yeah, this is a neat montage. I don't know what to do with all the imagery yet because I'm not familiar with the show. There's a rose and explosions. Oh, why did you guys want me to watch this episode? I'm lost. Now he wakes up and he's not dead. So are we supposed to... Is there a mystery about like why he keeps surviving like near-death experiences? Nobody's helping me with any of the story with this. They're like, nah, it's fine. Just watch it, Cap. Hayden Spring, I know about the big plot thing everybody talks about. And that's a lot from this. Because we are 3.5 minutes away, and I don't know what they're 3 minutes away. He's a mummy. Wow, what is she wearing? She looks like an X-Men character. Nah, her singing was fine. I wonder if she wrapped his mouth up in all of that, just to mess with him, just to give him crap. Yeah, so Professor Zoom, I had seen the pilot of the show, and somebody said I really needed to watch the 5th episode. Actually, more than one person was suggesting that. This is the only one I'm going to jump in the middle like that with. The other couple things I'm going to watch tonight, I'll just look at the first episodes and just give you my thoughts of how I'm digging it as I go. But yeah, I didn't totally know what I was looking at there. I assumed there'd be some big shock thing I was supposed to be surprised by. Like that montage was pretty crazy at the end. But I don't really know why I was supposed to look at that one. But it does make me more intrigued to watch this show, most certainly. I like the pacing of that a lot, and I like the mix of drama and humor and real dark, screwed up stuff with the lighter stuff. I think that's handled really well. And I was also just really blown away by the landscapes and the stained glass especially. That was amazing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to take a look at, again, don't expect any insights. I'm just watching stuff. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. We've got a nice crowd. I'm just watching some anime that I've never seen before. For folks that just tuning in, I'm not an anime guy. I'm learning. I've seen quite a bit more in the last few years than I had ever seen, and I'm warming up more and more to the medium. I can't say genre, certainly, but now we're going to take a look at Demon Slayer. I'll watch the first episode. If I'm really into one of these, I might watch the first couple, and I haven't decided how late I'm going to stay up and do this. I'm just going to kind of see how it's going, and I may stream a couple hours. The first episode of this show is called Cruelty. This was suggested, by the way, by Larry Williams on Patreon. So thanks to you. It's not even a name I recognize right away, but he's one of our patrons. So appreciate you, man. Thanks a bunch. So yeah, I'm going to watch the first episode of this show, and I want to make sure I'm watching the right one. So what I'm seeing on Netflix is a thing called Demon Slayer. Is it just Demon Slayer? So it says 2021. Is this show that new, or am I looking at the wrong version of it? I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right thing. There's different arcs of it. Okay. See, I don't know anything about this show. So there's an arc called Entertainment District and Mugen Train. Just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. So I'm going to wait until somebody tells me in the comments if I'm looking at the wrong series. Because I know some of these things have multiple versions and reboots and things. And so I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. Sorry, Hayden. Yeah, this is on Netflix. The first 3 of these shows are Netflix things, and then if I keep going, I'll decide what I'm going to watch after that. John G says Demon Slayer started in 2021, and says, wait, no, first episode should be from 2019. Okay, so Netflix has it listed as 2021 because that's the most recent season, but what I'm looking at is definitely going to be the first episode of the first arc, I think. So, well, let me just make sure. Guys, give me a second here. Guidi, I have talked about Death Note already. Yeah, so this isn't listed by season. It has names for each of the seasons, and I just want to make sure that I'm starting with the right one. So I'm going to assume that the first season is this much longer one. I'm just going to double check and make sure that I'm not doing this wrong. Okay, thank you. Finally, somebody is giving me some information here. Appreciate you. Yeah, so Jared says that Cruelty is the first episode, so I just didn't want to get part of the way into this and then be wrong about it. So once again, guys, I know nothing about this. I've never seen this. I didn't hear about it until very recently, and I had no idea that this was even this new. Okay, got multiple people confirming that now. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. So, Demon Slayer, I'm going to watch this first episode. If I'm real intrigued by it, I might go ahead and check out the second one. Otherwise, we'll just move right into the other show I was planning on doing tonight, which is Hunter. Hunter? Unless you are supposed to pronounce the X. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, make sure you're at timestamp 0. And we're going to watch it together. Here we go. Everybody, please press play. Demon Slayer. It's the first episode of Demon Slayer. It's called Cruelty. Here we go. All right, please press play right now. All right, do we get an intro right away? Or is it cold open? No, it's a cold open. With snow. This is nice and eerie right away, starting with a first-person perspective. We have a real realistic-looking landscape with more flat characters. In made us rest, folks. This guy's having a bad day. Look at his forehead. Look at her forehead. It's like a blend of 2D and 3D animation right away. It's a good hook. Oh, I thought something was wrong with his forehead. Now I'm wondering if it's supposed to be like a birthmark or something. People are comparing Demon Slayer to Bleach now. There was some debate about whether or not I would care about that show earlier. I appreciate you guys' investment in my investment, or lack thereof, in anime. Everybody's got really red eyes in this show. We've got a dub here too, and once again, the dub is very different from the subtitles. That kid's name is Shigeru, like Miyamoto. I like the soft focus there. It is a little bit odd looking at characters that don't really look like they go with the landscape, but it's kind of a stylistic choice. You know, it kind of looks like a plate in front of another plate, like most people just standing in front of a green screen or something. Got a little bit of that exaggerated thing happening. I was just about to say we're establishing a real quaint, happy lifestyle for these folks in this village. They're having a hard time because of all the snow. Yeah, I knew that scene was too chipper to not immediately get to a more disturbing place, or just wait, the other shoe's gonna drop. We already, kind of saw that because we did the typical start in a place and then flashback thing. which I don't typically like, but it's used all the time. Even anime can't get away from it. I also have seen, I don't think really any animes yet that don't have a lot of, or at least a, decent amount of voiceover with like internal monologue. Not everything is Death Note, where you have somebody that's constantly narrating like in a comic book and giving you their constant thought process. This is a little bit more traditional about that. More like retroactively telling a story. Oh, wait, no, he is doing that. He is thinking to himself right now. I sit corrected. No, yeah, don't go up the mountain in the snow in the dark. That's a bad idea. You don't even have a flashlight. So I'm assuming this is period. Like, at first I wasn't sure, since we're in a... Oh my god, that sushi looks great. Since we're in this kind of old-fashioned village. But nobody seems to have any kind of modern technology at all. Ace vs. Knight says the dialogue is very exposition-heavy in this one. I'm getting more and more accustomed to that when I'm watching these things. Okay, so we have honest-to-God demons in our show called Demon Slayer. Literal demons. I wonder if we'll have, like, literal and figurative demons. People fighting their inner demons. He's got a cool pipe. Stuff like this just makes me want to immerse myself more and more in Japanese culture. Learn everything I can learn. I just love the visual trappings of it. And I'd like to know more than I know. I don't know. I think there's probably going to be demons. I don't trust that. Well, there might be something to it then. And we've got that thing where we occasionally cut corners a little bit. So you've got characters that aren't necessarily moving if they don't have to. Oh, we've got a motif here, folks. Whenever happiness is destroyed, it's always followed with the smell of blood. Oh! Nice sense of tension built into that. And then just this horrific image. This show looks spectacular. And I love how timeless this is. Like, the only sense I would get of how recent this is just how polished it looks. But it still could have been made 10 years ago, maybe even 15. Really, any time after, it wasn't... It was more standard to build this stuff in a computer than with hand-drawn animation. John G., I like what I saw of the original Hellsing, but I don't know anything about Hellsing Ultimate. And it's been years since I've seen any of that. Or maybe it was a demon. You've been warned, man. Hey, watch out, you don't want to trip over that log. See, before Death Note, and I don't mean to keep talking about that too much, but that's my most recent point of reference. Before that, I used to really resist all of this internal monologue And there's this kind of like midpoint between a comic book and a animated TV show that we get to with some anime, it seems like, and I'm starting to really appreciate it. It really allows you to not have to like force in an extra character for your protagonist to talk to. Lets us really get in the head of our protagonist. And I don't think I would accept it as much as I've come to if I wasn't a comic fan in the first place. This first person POV stuff is making me feel more like I'm with my protagonist. Sometimes that doesn't work great. I'm digging it here so far. Oh my god. So is this a vampire? We have what seems like a vampire transformation here. That is a demon. God, I should have listened. Well, see, she had transformation. Do you... Wait, what? Is your sense of smell that good? Like, you're used to the scent of that girl? Well, maybe that says something about him. I don't know. Jared says, I'd recommend watching a few episodes of Demon Slayer to really get a feel for it. So far, I'm not put off by it or anything. Like, I'm intrigued enough to consider continuing with it. For atmosphere, if nothing else. I mean, I'm really liking the setting. Like, I know we do the tears in the eyes thing a lot in anime, but those are huge! Brings a whole new meaning to Cry Me a River. That's gotta be cold. Oh, she still has a soul, maybe. Boy, there's already a lot of Japanese weto here. Oh, here comes the cavalry. And the hair gets cut. Okay. It's a typical anime hero, is who it is. Yeah, Professor Zoom, I want to spend a little bit more time with manga. I did start reading the Death Note manga because I want to see how it compares to the show, which it fell off real hard in the second half. But I have not gotten back to it yet. We're not wasting any time with this. Yeah, and also she might still be in there. Did you see how she was crying? This is a good dramatic situation here. Okay, are we gonna start actually naming the demons, or are we just gonna keep generically saying demon? I mean, the show's called Demon Hunter, so maybe not. Professor Zoom, I've seen the first uh half, I think, of the original Full Metal Alchemist show, but I've never read the manga or seen the other one. And it's been a lot of years now. Whoa! Look at that perspective. His hand was right in my face. It's pretty intense. We still got 9 minutes left in this episode. I might have thought that we would get to that place and that would be a cliffhanger, because these shows love to do big, epic, exciting cliffhangers. We're like, oh no, don't kill her. To be continued. But nope, we're going to resolve that. Now, I legitimately didn't know if he was going to kill her or not. Jared says there's named demons later when you get to the more powerful ones and the main villains of episodes and arcs. Okay, cool. Good to know. Like I said, this setting is really appealing. It's kind of interesting to get into the wow, that sword looks super cool. Sorry, I'm distracted. It's interesting to get into the danger of nature in the middle of all of this. Kind of comparing a scary natural situation in nature to something that is unnatural with demons, even though that's also arguably in its way part of nature, because it's not man-made or technology or anything. It's elemental. I assume there's something powerful about that sword. It's glowing blue all the time. Oh, yep, he did kill. Okay. Or at least he stabbed her. He's trying. She's not going to make it out of this, right? I have the high ground. Oh, that one eye open bit is pretty crazy. Ace versus Knight says, feel rage cap. Feel it. I'm feeling it, man. Sounds like a sign flip. Wow. He's so badass, he waits to the last moment to move his head away from an axe coming down. Now we gotta get a... now we gotta get a recap of what just happened. This is a thing I'm getting more accustomed to also. Feels almost like an instant replay. Here's what really happened. Yeah, none of this is going exactly where I might have expected it to. Oh, that's what I was trying to think of earlier. Just the feel of this, it's like the Remnant. Revenant. I think Revenant is the name of that movie with demons. That's what it kind of watches like to me. Oh, it's so gruesome. Now we're getting a little bit of the rules of how the demons work. A lot of the enemy pilots I've seen so far are really good at this, of just like establishing the premise, giving you a sense of how the rules work, and using that as the hook. This is cool. Okay, so we are not gonna full on kill this demon. I guess maybe I should have expected that with her eyes welling up the way she did, where it's like there's still a person in there, maybe. Ace versus Knight, yeah, just like Naruto, they fight and then they explain the fight. Okay. Ace versus Knight says she's going to be a good guy demon. Okay. Interesting. Is she just going to growl all the time, or is she going to get to actually speak? Have a regular voice? I wonder. This guy with a sword has a really cool costume. Wow, he's like a friggin' Jedi or something. Oh, he's got to like keep a thing in her mouth so that she doesn't attack people. There's that same, kind of crane shot that we got at the beginning. Yeah, that's a solid opening. Yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm curious about that. That was a lot of different things all at once. Ace versus Knight says, I don't know much about the show, but that character gets a lot of fan art and cosplayers. That's why I knew she wasn't going to die. It's not like the Shredder where they kill her off right away and then later on she gets popular. Bring her back. But yeah, I would definitely watch another one of those. I'm trying to decide if I want to go ahead and watch the next one right now or if we should move on to the next show. How long have I been broadcasting? About an hour. I tell you what, folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a real quick break and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I'm going to put a pin in that and I'm going to come back and try some more of it on my own or on stream later on. But I'm going to go ahead and sample another show and maybe I'll sample one more episode of a different show just to get. That was the whole point of this anyway, just to get samplings of different things. I am tempted though to go ahead and look at the next one. I like the mood of that quite a bit. John G's trying to get me to watch the next episode of this one. But yeah, no, I'm gonna keep going with that at some point. I like that quite a bit. But right now, or here in a few minutes anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Hunter Hunter, if that is indeed how you're supposed to say it. So everybody go ahead and bring that up. I'm gonna watch the first episode of that show. I think that's also on... Yes, that's also on Netflix. But like I said, I'm going to go take a quick couple-minute break first, and I'll see everybody in just a minute. Or, couple minutes. Okay, folks, it's time for more guy who knows nothing about anime watching anime. And I'm going to watch the first episode now of Hunter x Hunter, which was suggested also by Larry Williams and a couple other people on Patreon. This show starts in 2011, it looks like. Netflix has it at 2014, which suggests that's when it ended. But it also says that it was on for 6 seasons, so I have no idea why it says 2014, or if they just did 2 seasons a year or something. But it looks like the first season is, oh wow, 26 episodes long. They're prolific, these anime houses and manga writers, artists. The work ethic is absolutely insane. Departure and Friends, it looks like, is the name of the first episode here. So I'm going to watch that, and we'll see how I feel about it. Somebody mentioned that this is by the same house that made Death Note, which is exciting to me, because it's one of the only animes I've... Actually, maybe that's the only anime I've ever seen cover to cover, front to back. But I love it, even though that second half is rough. I'm curious to see what this is like. And this would have started before that, am I right? Madhouse, yes. Thank you. Okay, is everybody ready? Make sure you're watching the first episode of this. Again, it's called Departure and Friends. And once again, guys, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just reacting as I go. Get ready to press play when I say now. I'm just about to do it. Everybody, please press play right now. Oh, this looks potentially a little more lighthearted right away, but we'll see if that's misleading at all. Got kind of a typical J-pop kind of song. I've not seen a lot of this type of anime yet. I say that. I guess I don't totally know what I'm looking at yet, but it looks a lot brighter and bouncier. See, I want to say it looks almost like Magical Girl-esque, but it looks like mostly a cast of guys. Well, I'm just saying based on this intro. Meddling one. I don't know what I'm looking at yet. But so far, I've already seen a lot of silver hair guys, spiky silver hair people. Yeah, it's crazy to actually recognize any logos and things now. These are not Pokemon. Again, setting up our rules. Building our world right away. Oh, that's not even in scene or anything. Whale Island. It's shaped like a whale. Yep. It was nice of the clouds to set themselves up like it looked like air coming from a blowhole. Yep. I will just say right away, this does not look like it's going to be my thing, but we'll see. See, now I'm just after those first 2 episodes, what we watched a while ago. I just want really dark, moody stuff right now. But we'll see if this takes a turn and goes to those places. I don't know. So this seems a little Pokemon-esque, right? Like if we were hunting Pokemon instead of just, catching them. Got a guy that wants to be the best monster hunter. That's fishing from a very far away place. That's quite a fishing line. Look how long that is. Good lord. He's like fishing backwards. Oh, he's probably catching a monster, right? It's not gonna be a fish. It's gonna be like a big ass monster. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. That's a big ass monster. That's what I said. That is a lucky kid. Good job, kid. John Tai, that's almost every shonen protagonist. They always want to be the best at something. Well, it's an easy character motivation. This is what our protagonist wants. And he's gonna be constantly held back in some way. John G. Battle Shonen are about... Okay, that's the genre. I was trying to figure out what... Because I felt like I recognized the genre, but I didn't know what it was called. About growth, power, friendship, and comedy. Okay. Professor Zoom... HH is not Pokemon, trust me. Yeah, but you can see why I'm making connections to that, right? I'm sure this will take some kind of crazy turn I'm not expecting. Maybe not the pilot, but... She's got yellow eyes. Don't make the same mistakes that your dad did. That was a good response. It's very revealing for our character. She says, your dad put this over his own son, and his son says, isn't that great? Meddling One says, this is a hard show to recommend to a newbie. I mean, it's not hard to get what's happening here. It's actually more straightforward than anything I've looked at so far. But premise-wise, it's not immediately grabbing me. It looks like fun. I mean, if you're into this kind of thing. I feel like Jason would dig this a lot more than me. Why are you doing that? Why are you drawing it out that long? That's annoying. Stop it. We got to say our protagonist's name 150 times so we remember it. His name is gone. I'll probably remember that now. That was a pretty shot. John says Jason is the perfect demographic for this show. Yeah, I was kind of wondering if there was anything about this that was like intentionally misleading, if it would suddenly get a lot darker, or if what I'm looking at really is this show. Oh, it's his fishing pole. I was like, what's sticking out of the top of his head? Gone, gone. I mean, I'm talking over this. I hadn't really heard it pronounced real hard. I was mostly just seeing it in the subtitles. Ace versus Knight says gone like his father was when he was born. You guys, again, I've not seen this. So he's gonna sacrifice potential for normal life to go have exciting adventures, just like his father. I'm gonna make a guess right now that he's gonna run into his father at some point, right? He's gonna be out there somewhere. Professor Zoom says this show gets very dark later on. I figured it probably did, but maybe he meant not so much that Jason couldn't still watch it. I could go for a beer right now. That looks good. John said his father left for milk and smokes. Wow, he shot up that mast pretty quickly. This kid looks like he has superpowers and nobody knows it. No, Jareth, I have not looked at any Dragon Ball. I will probably try one more show tonight. I'm not sure what yet. I'm going to look at the list. Since we've been in Netflix, I'll probably grab something else from Netflix. Although I could go to Amazon or something. What I'll probably do is read out some names of shows I've got, and you guys can help me decide what to pick. But like I said, I had kicked around maybe doing 2 of one show, but I think I'm going to just do 4 separate episodes of different shows. Oh, the fun is just beginning. This music seems intentionally anachronistic to the situation we suddenly have. We've suddenly found ourselves in. Meddling One says, this is so nostalgic, he feels old. I mean, if you were a kid when this came out, though, how do you think I feel? 'Cause 2011, I was already doing Geekvolution for 3 years. Or 2 years. My wife and I would have been married 3 years. And now suddenly it's turned into kind of a pirate thing. Why does he have a Superman crest on his door? Oh, he says it's a 90s manga. I see. Jared says Sonic X is the best anime of all time. I watched the pilot for that and didn't like it at all. But that doesn't mean it doesn't get better later. That's what I call a sour apple. He just bit into a sour apple, and he said, it's a sour apple. Again, I can see why this would be fun for some people. This is not grabbing me yet. Did he put a cigarette in his pipe? Why don't you put that in your pipe and smoke it? Roll call. Oh, that's interesting. Good to know. Professor Zoom says this is the second adaptation of this material. Oh, Jared wasn't serious when he said that about Sonic X. I mean, how would I know? You know, maybe people love that. I have no idea. No, I think the real reason you left Whale Island is you were sick of living in a whale. Tom just put in a chill super chat and says Cyberpunk Edge Runners is good, but a slow start. Yeah, I wasn't really all that curious to look at uh, adaptation of that source material, but unless that's not connected at all to that game, I assume that was related to the video game. Maybe it's not. God, just answer the captain's question. He's the captain. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought he was like blackmailing them or something, like holding something over their head. No, he just knows something they don't. It's not connected to the game. Okay. That guy accidentally rhymed. Oh, wait, now he's saying it is, but it's his own stuff. Okay. Oh, he is kind of holding it over their heads. Okay. This captain has control of their destiny right now. Ace versus Knight says this is part of the exam. Yeah, apparently so. So now they have to give him a good reason for why they want to be a hunter. Tom put another $5 super chat and says it takes place in that world, but isn't connected except for locations and business terms. Okay. And John says the first arc of this is the exam. Oh, wow, the whole first arc. Okay. Crazy. Is it the whole season or just the first few episodes? That super exaggerated spittle coming out of your mouth thing these shows do. I'm starting to get more accustomed to that, but that kind of thing just takes me out. He's got like steam coming out of his mouth. That's what money's for. Yep. Thanks. Thanks for explaining money. This guy's an idiot. Strike 3. You can't step outside. You're on a boat. I guess the... Take it back. Yeah, I'm finding more and more I've got really specific taste for this stuff. Okay, I want you guys to help me find another, like, really dark and moody thing. Because that's what I'm liking from anime so far. It's a bird. It's a plane. I bet it's going to be a monster. Oh no, it's a water spout. Maybe the water spout is the top of a monster. Let's find out. Good job, Captain. Jared says Tokyo Ghoul. That's another one I've heard of, but don't know anything about. I think somebody asked for that on Patreon. Where is that streaming? We might take a look at that. You want to take this outside? "91 Days" I've never heard of. Dante S. Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 6. Okay, but I tried watching an episode in the middle of a season with Cowboy Bebop, and I had no idea what I was looking at. But somebody else asked for Vinland Saga, so I may take a look at that. Oh no, here comes Gon to accidentally save the day, maybe? Hot Soup! Good to see you, man. Thanks so much for the super chat. I didn't do that for any of the other super chats, but he put in a $10 super chat. I appreciate you, man. Here's for the other couple. Thank you, guys. He says, not sure if it's already been suggested, but Paranoia Agent is a good watch. It's the only series from the director of Perfect Blue. Not sure where it's streaming, though. I would be very curious about that. Because I loved Perfect Blue, and the animation in that is spectacular as well. And especially if that's another kind of mind freak psychological thriller thing, I would be really curious about that. I'll look that up when we're finished here and see if that's streaming anywhere. Yeah, it sounds really interesting, especially with that super chat Hot Soup. I think I will check that out if I can find it. Now, you shouldn't be embarrassed by your behavior, Liario. He's obnoxious. No, you're too nice. See, she's supposed to be sympathetic because of that, but he's obnoxious. I even like that title a lot, Paranoia Agent. That's piquing my interest. How old is that show, I wonder? I'm going to guess around the same time as this, maybe. See, trying to lead us to think that this captain was going to be a big antagonist, but ultimately he is on our heroes. So yeah, and just like Pokemon, we've got to have an announcer guy. It's like, and now our main kid goes on to try to become a hunter. He's gonna go on his journey. Yeah, I think my kids would really like the show. I think Jason would really dig this. John says almost 20 years old. Okay, I am gonna look around a second and see if I can find Paranoia Agent. Whatever we watch next will be the last thing tonight. This has been a lot of fun, and I would absolutely be interested in doing this again. We've had, like I said, kind of a nice group hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate you guys. Real late at night. Hope you've enjoyed it. Paranoia Agent. Was this only 13 episodes long? That is a real doable watch. Crunchyroll, Funimation, Prime Video has it for purchase. Okay, this does not seem like a real easy thing for us to stream tonight, unfortunately. Because the problem is I've got to watch something that the majority of us can all take a look at, and it looks like even on Funimation you have to have a subscription to, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, you got to have a subscription. Okay, Hot Soup, I apologize. We're not going to do that tonight, but I am curious about it, and we'll try to check it out on my own. Tokyo Ghoul, I'm curious about. Let me let you guys in on other stuff that was suggested here. Of course, My Hero Academia, Code Geass, Space Battleship Yamato, Vinland Saga, somebody mentioned that a minute ago. Millennium Actress, I don't know anything about that. One Punch Man, again, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Like I said, I want something kind of dark and moody. I'm so curious about Paranoia Agent now. I really wish we could do that. But the majority of us aren't going to have an easy way to watch that, so I don't want to ask everybody to get a free trial for something for a couple of weeks just so that I can watch that. But Hot Soup, I will definitely try to seek that out on my own. I'm going to write that down right now, actually. Tokyo Ghoul is like X-Men but with monsters, says Ace versus Knight. That sounds interesting. Paranoia Agent. Okay. I've written it down, folks. Where is Tokyo Ghoul? I think somebody mentioned Amazon, right? And I mean, you guys might not all have the same subscriptions I do, but at least a lot of us will probably have that. John G says action, dark, crime show. Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's see here. Not available on Amazon, unfortunately. Somebody said it might be on YouTube. So I will look there. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I decided to only plan for the those first 3 and then see how much more I wanted to watch after that, which is why I don't already have things rigged up. John Ty says, only watch the first season of this, don't watch the second. I am just not finding a way to watch this either, guys. It is not on YouTube, as far as I can tell. Yeah, everybody's saying don't watch the second season of that. Okay. It's on Hulu, apparently. Dubbed and subbed. Okay. I am not currently subscribed to Hulu, but I will resubscribe for this. Let me go ahead and do that. If I can. Sorry guys, give me a second. I haven't logged into this in a while because I haven't needed it for a long time. Okay, everybody, if you're going to watch it with me, go ahead and set it up and get it to timestamp 0. It's going to take me just a minute to get logged in here. I'm almost there. I had to get a new password here. Sorry, folks. Psychopass is another thing people are suggesting. I'll write that down too as something to maybe do later on. I will almost certainly do another stream like this where you guys can keep introducing me to some of this stuff. I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, I wasn't into Hunter x Hunter enough to keep going. Hold on, guys. Apologies. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into this tonight. I'm having a tough time getting resubscribed to Hulu here with short notice like this. I wonder if there's another place I can get just that one episode. I am taking forever on this, sorry. I may have to pick something else for right this moment. Okay, is Psychopass a thing I can watch somewhere else? Can anybody just check out what's on Netflix or Amazon and throw me something that we could watch for this last show? I'm sorry we're not gonna be able to do Tokyo Ghoul right now. I'm gonna write that down too. And when I get resubscribed to Hulu, we'll do that. But I'm not able to do it right now. It's just gonna take too long to get my billing set up and all of that. Okay, it looks like Psychopass is on Amazon. Ace vs. Night isn't Tokyo Ghoul on Netflix. It wasn't listed on Google. Yeah, not in the States. It is not here. Oh, but Vinland Saga is, and people were asking for that on Patreon too. Well, should we try that? Sorry, I know I'm jumping all over the place here. But especially since everything else we've watched is on Netflix, it might be easier for everybody, and people were asking for that. And that's a real recent one, too, it looks like. This looks depressing right away. I don't know if I'm going to like this. But I'm willing to try anything. Okay, guys. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do Vinland Saga. Let's do that. We'll do the first episode of Vinland Saga. Get it set up. Get ready for timestamp 0. My apologies for jumping around everywhere. Thanks for hanging on. There's still folks here through all this. You guys are great. I'll give you just a minute. And then I'm going to bed. I'm getting tired. Okay, nobody's saying anything, but hopefully everybody's getting this rigged up. Again, Vinland Saga. All right, here we go. Everybody get to timestamp 0. I'm just about to get started with it. We'll give you a timestamp if you need one. Here we go. Everybody, please press play. First episode of Vinland Saga. Please press play right now. Oh, we're finally watching a show. Oh, for a second I thought that was going to be like a company logo or something. It is a company still. I was going to say, like, there's motorcycles in the show? What is happening? Jared says he's just listening. Yeah, folks always do that. Even with a thing like this, which is shocking, because I don't see how this is remotely watchable, but I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks for all the information. Wait, his name is Thors? Like multiple Thors? Wow, we got this again. Drippy piano music behind terrifyingness. Well, this just feels like a video game. We're back on ships. It's a stark contrast from what we just... Yikes! Wow. That is very Castlevania. You just get anywhere near somebody with a sword and half their body falls off. How could you possibly have fallen asleep there? Wow. There's a lot of people with the name Thor in their name. Thorkel. Vikings are cool. Got some fun humor right away in the middle of all of this carnage. Really reveling in the violence here right away. God, that's quite bloody. Oh. It's raining blood. Ooh, it's hail. How often do you get hail in anything? Ow, my shoulder. You might want to get out of the way. I don't know. In case more arrows come down. It's just an idea. It's just an idea I had. Wow. Another thing, we're just not wasting any time. Like, this is some crazy action for the way you're opening your show. This is immediately reminding me a lot of Castlevania. Which, come to think of it, I've not seen the fourth season yet. I really like that show, though. That's an anime that I've seen. I don't know if it counts, because I think it's, we made it, but or at least it was written here. Okay, full disclosure, who's actually watching this show with me right now? How many of you guys have me in the background right now just to hear me go, yikes, blood? Vinland Saga. Let's see how this intro is handled. Got a 360 around Viking ships. Oh, cool. I got a couple people watching this. This is some real early 2000s sounding rock. Which I'm not going to complain about, but it's funny how this sounds a little dated to me and it's more recent. Yeah, you run across that bridge, kid. We got more snow. Jared, I'm here for the comments every 10 seconds. Is that the average? I don't have anybody else here to fill in. Oh, it is early 2000s rock. Listen to that. Now we got the obligatory screamy part. That's a pretty sky. Hot Soup, I really wanted to watch that show. I'm going to do it. Somewhere far away. Yeah, we're back in the same setting that we had in what was that other show we watched? Oh, so we're a few years later now, I think. Ace versus Nine reminds me of Death Note's second opening. That's way more listenable than Death Note's second opening. So many Thors. Demon Slayer, thank you, Jared. I'm getting tired. I did dig on Demon Slayer. I'm gonna watch more of that. And Ace versus Night says both of these shows came out the same year. Yeah, it's interesting. The setting is so similar. I'm more impressed with their animation, but they're stylized differently. That was going for a more realistic landscape than this. I say that. I mean, these trees. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You can go somewhere where it's not cold. Oh God, Thomas Lowe. It's a 24-hour Demon Slayer stream. That sounds depressing. I could see doing a real late night, several hour marathon for something like that, though. These are the kind of things that are more fun to watch real late at night. I tried to think of a name that doesn't have Thor in it. Leif Erikson. That's historical fiction, folks. With lots of blood. Not right now, though. Are you gonna put a cigarette in your pipe? No, Austin wouldn't want to do a stream like that. I feel like I've done okay on my own. He's real modest too, this guy. No, Austin is not an anime guy at all. I mean, I'm not really either, but I'm coming around. I'm trying to watch more of it. He does not care. It's proof of my astounding brain. This guy's a little full of himself. It's interesting to me. It's kind of astounding, these animes that get so rough and dark and violent and are not afraid of any kind of subject matter, and then turn around and have scenes like this that feel like the most wholesome thing ever. And it would feel tonally uneven in like Whiplash, maybe doing that here, but I'm getting so used to it with anime. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel totally uneven. Oh my god, that looks very cold. You need a coat. Oh, you're like a slave or something. That's why you don't have a coat. I'm just assuming he's got like a chain. See, that was good visual storytelling. Because they're like, look how harsh it is. And then he starts talking about how harsh it is. Mm-hmm. See, here I can tell. Wow. Here I can tell exactly the time period because I was told the time period, but it seemed more ambiguous in Demon Slayer. The times they are changing. Yeah, Jareth, I would like to watch the original Ghost in the Shell anime. If there's a way to watch that. East vs. Night says that's true for Japanese movies too. They get very silly right before they get very gruesome. Okay, is this... So, I'm going to sound really ignorant, possibly, when I say this, but, like, I just watched Hunter x Hunter, and then that kid in the dream sequence, it looked like he was imagining himself being the kid in that? Was that a coincidence that he was wearing the same green kind of outfit? He was fighting a big monster, and... Was that an intentional nod to that show? Or am I just thinking that because I just watched that show? Like, it looked really similar. That was wild. And crazy if I watched these back to back and that was doing that. I really appreciate that these characters are not pigeonholed into modern morality and sensibilities. They have the morality they would have at the time, and the show's not scared of that. So this woman is just outright saying, "Why do we have to do this ourselves? Can't we just hire a slave? Like, we have those." And of course, you and I say that's horrible, but you've got, you're in a different time. You've got different morality, different way of living. Thomas Slow, which begs the question: when is uneven tone considered okay? Yeah, I mean, case by case. Ace versus Knight says, I don't think so. Japan is a set of islands. The thing of sailing and facing the sea is a recurring motif. Yeah, but it was in a different animation style. It had, the Spirit of Adventure thing, and his outfit was really similar. But yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It's just kind of weird that I watched these back to back. So I've never been a big Viking guy, but after reading Simons and Thor years ago, I've come to appreciate that period and that mythology a lot more. There's a lot of affinity up for it just dripping off the screen with this, particularly with the ships. Whoever's making this loves that stuff. I don't understand how you survived that. How did you all freeze to death? Oh, they did, except for you. You know why? Because he had his tray table up and his seat back in the full upright position. I keep getting taken out by these kind of CG waves. Maybe it's actually not CG, but it's just got more depth to it than anything else. Man, if Helga had a dime for every time she was asked to boil some water, she's like, you know what? I'm just going to start constantly having boiling water. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're not shying away from anything with this show, which seems true of just at least what I've seen of a lot of anime, where what little anime I've seen. We had the slave. He's been malnourished, and he is in real bad shape. We're just getting a lot of history lessons here. And geography. Oh, yeah. Harold. He sounds very menacing. He is menacing. Ace versus Knight, the Norse mythos is bonkers. Thor dresses up as a woman to trick some dude and gets his hammer back after Loki gave it away. Wow. I hadn't heard that. Where we have, get this, ice. And again, here, this is all overacting, but not in Japan. And we got to step up the melodrama in our voice acting to match what's on the screen. Oh, I thought we were just talking about Leif Erikson. That's supposed to be... Leif Erikson is a character in this. Unless he's just full of himself and pretending to be Leif Erikson. It's somebody's slave, and I'm just upset that he's not in good enough shape to go work the roof for us, because, you know, I wanted a slave, and then one shows up, but I can't even use him. This is a Viking first world problems. I'm more curious about the show than the last thing we watched. But I wouldn't keep, so far anyway. We'll see where it goes. I wouldn't keep watching it over Demon Slayer. Come on, Thors. All the Thors. She's just done with everything. This is depressing. This guy's very intimidating. Oh, he's the master of that slave that escaped. I'm wondering where this score is going. Swearing. Uh-oh. This is escalating. He just threatened to cut that guy's legs off. This is... All the action in this is reminding me, again, a lot of Castlevania, and especially because of the chains right now. Oh, we got a motif here. The law is a chain. Chains are representing power right now. That's a cold man right there. Meanwhile, back to the sunflowers. This is pretty grim. Oh, I thought maybe that was it. That was our commercial break. Okay, we've just got 6 minutes left here. He's trying to help the slave escape. We've done a good job really setting up the stakes for this guy, because his owner is a psycho. I'm wondering how many folks that are watching with us right now have seen this before, because I was getting a lot of interaction with the other 3 shows, and it seems like everybody's just kind of stopped and is watching this. 'Cause there's still some viewers here. But I'm wondering if everybody's just real sucked in. Oh, here he is. Oh, a likely story. Oh, yeah, so some of these guys have never heard of this show. I hadn't either. Some of these things, I wonder, like, if they're made for Netflix, or if they're just real recent and they went to Netflix. Yeah, so 3 of these guys have never seen the show, at least. A lot of piano music in these shows, especially the very dark ones. Now we're haggling. Haggling with sheep. Oh, wow. They paid him off with sheep. And he didn't even kill anybody else with a chain. This guy's freaking me out. He's like, where's the slave going to go? He's, as far as he can tell, in the much better position here. Well, that guy's coming back. Yeah, did you notice how I'm crying really loud? Yes, I'm sad. And I don't want to sleep on a rock. Oh, way to rope it back. Yeah, that's some pretty tight writing. Yeah, our ancestors ran away like the slave did. Are we any better than he is? Yeah, I was waiting for some kind of like supernatural twist or something. This is like just a Viking show. Again, I realize anime is not a genre, but I still kind of marvel at just all the different places and kinds of stories that we're telling, and even up to recently, because I just don't feel like there's anything like this much variety in American television, especially American animation. Okay, there you go. I mean, that's a solid first episode. It doesn't grab me as much as Demon Slayer, but I would consider watching more of it, certainly after I've tried out a few other things, probably. Well, folks, it's getting late. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to go ahead and get going. I hope you enjoyed watching some random animes with me. We did it for a couple of hours. And on my own time or on another stream down the road, I will definitely check out Paranoia Agent when I can get my hands on it, and Tokyo Ghost and Psycho Pass. Those all sounded like interesting things that I might want to watch. And like I said, of the 4 things that we looked at tonight, the one that I was most intrigued by was, I just said it too, Demon Slayer, and then at some point I'll finish Cowboy Bebop. I was really impressed with the look of that episode. I just didn't really totally know what was happening. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get going, but appreciate you guys, and I'm going to be on vacation did I say vacation? I'm gonna be on vacation for the next week and a half, so no videos this next week, probably, unless I do some kind of live stream on the road or something. But my regular stuff, it'll be a bit before I get back to that. I should be back for the Captain Logan show in 2 weeks. That might be the very next thing that happens. But in the meantime, appreciate you guys. Ace vs. Knight says, this was great. We should do this more often, especially Elfin Lead. He mentioned that earlier. I didn't read that comment on stream. Would be great. Jared says, yeah, please do this more often. This was fun. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I didn't know what it would be like because I don't have, insights on a thing I haven't seen before. So I didn't know how watchable this would be, but I've done blind commentaries for lots of stuff in the past, but it's usually genres that I'm familiar with and with another person. But this was relaxing, and I enjoy this thoroughly. So thanks, guys. I will almost certainly do it again, and I will see you again real soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful next week and a half or so. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan. Bye, everybody.